Hey everyone, I'm going to show you how I use my Dash baby waffle maker. I use this about 3 to 4 times a week while my kids are at school. This is how I get myself my breakfast. This is my mix of my diet waffle pancake mix. I pre-portioned it out. So I plugged in the waffle maker. There's no on and off button, it's just plug it in and go. And I pour the mix inside. So wait until it gets hot, which it's already hot, and I'm gonna close the top. Sometimes you will have some spillover, which is fine because I clean it when I'm done either way. Every use I clean it, and I'll show you how to do that as well. But it makes the perfect amount. All I need, this is all they give me in my little diet mix, so it makes a perfect amount for just one waffle. And let's see, I'll show you when it's done. You can actually, let me show you. You can actually see it at the side right there. It's getting there and it pops up. It increases, it gets wider and taller. Let me focus. As it's cooking or baking, you can see the steam. And this is really easy to clean and really easy to use. So you plug it in at the wall, you wait for it to get hot. It does have this blue light. It tells you it's a hot surface, so don't touch it or don't grab it with your hands. Keep it away from your kids. I think it's almost done. Okay, and I just showed you how the light was on because it was hot. Now the light is off because it is done. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like when the little waffle is done. And it really didn't take that long. It was about a minute, maybe a little less. So I'm gonna grab a fork so I can get that out. Comes out really easy. I mean, that's about 1 minute's worth on this waffle maker. This is so good. Perfect. I mean, that's like a Waffle House waffle. And you cook it in here. Look at the mess. There's no mess. There's a little mess, but really nothing. But I'll show you how I clean this off so that it doesn't sit with the, oh my God, I forgot to put the oil on it. I have the oil right there. I guess you don't really need the oil, but you kind of do. Sometimes you can use it and sometimes you can't. I usually do use it, and this time I forgot because I was distracted trying to show y'all how to make this. But it's really good. This is like a no-stick surface as well, but you see sometimes it does stick. But it's really easy to clean. Let me show you some more of my waffle. All right, let me cut into it so you can see how well cooked this is after about 1 minute on the Dash waffle maker. This one is cooked perfectly, like Gordon Ramsay would say. So I highly recommend getting you one of these if you cook a lot for yourself. We also do different recipes in this. Another one that is my favorite is mashed potatoes. So you take your mashed potato mix, even if it's powder or whatever, and you put it in here, and you can add onions, and you can add cheese and close it up, and it makes you like a little potato waffle, which is also like a hash brown. There's a ton of recipes for these little machines. And to turn it off, let me see if it's got the blue light. Okay, so it's hot again, so it's ready for the next one, but I'm done with it, so I'm gonna unplug it and put it to the side, let it cool down, and then when I come back later, once it's cooled, I clean it in the sink, and I'll show y'all how I do that too. Okay, so here I'm gonna show you how I clean it once I'm done using it. It has cooled off now. I left it open after I was done using it, and I went and went and did a few things. So I left it open so it could cool off a lot faster. But as you can see, it did get dirty when I did not use the cooking spray. Actually, that was from my little fork when my fork hit it. But it did stay pretty clean. It looks like I used cooking spray, but maybe that's just buildup from every time I've used it. But here I'm going to show you how I wash it. If you make more of a mess than that, you can wash it. So I'm going to get a little bit of soap on the sponge and put the water on low and kind of just run it in there. Lightly, and I'm keeping the cord out. Don't you do that. Don't you put that cord in there. And I'm just kind of giving it a light scrub all over. All the little cracks. And then that spot right there that I got some on. Then I'm going to take the little hose apart off of the extension off of this and kind of just give it a light spray while I'm keeping the back out. Keep the back part of it out. Don't get the cord in there. Can hold it by this little thing right here to do the top. Rinse it off. We're all done. And then I also do one of these things. I press the towel on the inside, in the middle. Shake it, I shake it, I shake it, I shake it. Cord out of the sink. Dab, 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 dab. Dry it off, dry it off, dry it off. And then I leave it open again to dry. Tipping it over. Like this. And it will dry. And that's how I use my mini waffle maker by Dash. So I hope this review helps. I know you can look on Pinterest to find a ton of ways to use this and recipes, but my main one is mashed potatoes, making hash browns, and the mini waffles that I make in the morning. So if you love one of these and you need two, they also make them in different shapes. I've seen them in pumpkins, I've seen them in hearts, I've seen them in bunnies. They make this in a ton of different shapes. I got the classic, and they also do different colors. I've seen white, red, black, sometimes maybe an orange. But these are great to have. They are very worth the price. They're really good value. So I highly recommend one of these for your kitchen.
Hey, it's Erin here from TechGadgetsCanada.com. You know what the biggest problem is with an at-home waffle maker? It's the size. In my opinion, they're often too big and unwieldy, and just the way they're designed, there's really no good place in most kitchens to store one. That's why I ended up getting rid of my waffle maker, but I missed the waffles. So I've been on the hunt ever since to find a better solution, and I think I found it here on Amazon. This is the Dash Mini Waffle Maker, and this has all the stuff you want from a large format waffle maker, but in a much smaller size. Check this out. This is basically not much bigger than the palm of my hand, but it is an authentic waffle maker with that kind of iron of some kind, metal grill or griddle, and it makes perfectly personal sized waffles. But check this out, this could fit in almost any drawer or cupboard anywhere in any kitchen. It's also perfect for small spaces if you've got a dorm room or a small apartment. This is the ideal waffle maker, I think, to have in that small space because you can store it quite literally anywhere. So this waffle maker heats up quite quickly. I was actually surprised at how quickly it was ready. Then to make a waffle, it's really simple. You'll just want to spray down the surface of the waffle maker with some type of cooking oil spray, or you can brush it with oil or butter, and then drop your waffle batter onto the griddle and close the lid and let it cook. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes depending on how well done you want your waffles made. It'll take about 3 or 4 minutes to get them going. And then once you pop that lid open, you will find you've got a perfectly cooked, wonderful, hot, fresh waffle. I used this waffle maker over a couple of weekends on Saturday mornings making waffles for the family, and I was really happy with the performance. It really only does have one temperature setting. It's kind of either on or off, so that is something to be aware of. The waffles did come out maybe a little less brown than some people might like them. They're not quite as dark and toasty as you might get on a waffle maker that has sort of multiple heat settings. There is just only the one heat setting with this. But even so, I was really happy with the waffles that came out of it. We tried it out over a couple of days, and after a little bit of trial and error, found that the waffles were really tasty, really delicious. Not so much on the crispy side, but I think they were fantastic and they made a really ideal breakfast. When it comes to how to clean this device up, it was actually super easy. The metal grill part here is actually made of non-stick surface, so it really just brushes or wipes out with a pastry brush or some type of cooking brush. You can just sweep the crumbs out. The worst part about any waffle maker cleanup is that if you do get overspill out of the waffle maker and it has a chance to dry, it can be really hard to get off. So my recommendation for those of you who are going to try this out is to wipe up any overspill before it has a chance to cook on, and that's going to make your ultimate cleanup a lot easier. Overall, I can definitely recommend this product, the Dash Mini Waffle Maker. I think it's super fun, it makes great waffles, and it would probably make a really fun gift for a lot of people too.
Hey, my friend Benjamin Jakes here, and in this video, I wanted to review the Mini Waffle Maker by Dash. Now, Dash is an awesome brand for kitchen appliances, and they have all of these cool appliances, and as a single guy, you know, it's awesome to have kind of like the serving for one type of deal, you know, where it's like not this giant setup for different things. You know, they'll have mini versions of like different appliances, and so I really, really like that. This one is the Mini Waffle Maker, and so I'll actually just go ahead and show you how this works. The box is very, very easy to open, and inside of it you've got a pretty simple waffle maker, right? And I have tried to use a lot of different waffle makers in the past, and this one takes the cake for my personal favorite. So let me go ahead and pull the cord out of there. You go ahead and you also get this cool, you know, like instruction manual in the box. It has different things inside of it. It's going to show you how to use it. It's going to have different recipes in it and that kind of thing. And you can definitely go ahead and check that out when you buy one. But what it's going to look like is this, right? It's very plain Jane. It's very simple and it's small. It's just one waffle. Like that's what it'll crank out for you. And so I open this. This is going to come with it. You're going to have this kind of like soft sheet right here. And I keep it. And, you know, every time I'm finished with it and I clean it and I'm putting it back in in the box or wherever I'm storing it, I'll just go ahead and pop this on the bottom layer and then just kind of shut the top layer on it. And I'm just kind of keeping it like that. I don't know if I am supposed to, or if that's a good idea, or if it even matters, but that's what I do. So you now know my drill. And so you have this cord right here. This is a decent length cord. You're obviously going to be able to put this on a counter and plug it in and, you know, even kind of like move it away from where it's plugged in. So this is a decent length. And then you can see the inside is the infamous waffle pattern, right? And so literally all that you do, this is amazing to me, because other waffle makers, like if you're ever in a hotel and you're like, oh, morning waffles, you make the waffle, it's like this whole thing, right? There's like a line of people, it's taking like 90 minutes per person, it's this whole thing. And so for me, I love this because what you do is you plug it in, this light is going to turn on the outside, and all that you do is whatever batter you have, and I'll make like my own like protein waffles and things like that, but however you make your waffle batter, that is up to you, my friend. All that you do is you just pour in enough where it's kind of coming up to this top rim. There's this little like spillover rim in case you put in like a little bit too much. And it's just like a very, very simple rim to kind of like calculate it. You want to maybe not pour it like directly in the middle. What I'll do is kind of pour it so it kind of goes around the whole thing so that it's not like surprising me and spilling over the edges. And then all that you do is you just close the top on it, and the light is going to just stay on. And then when it's done cooking the waffle, the light will go off and you'll hear a little click, right? So you have that auditory element of it where you hear the little click, but you also see that this light goes off. It's not on right now. If it was on and actually cooking the waffle, it would be bright, but it's off right now. And the cool thing is the waffle cooks, you actually just take this piece right here, you lift it up, and you have a waffle. Now, two things that are really cool about this, right? If you put too much batter in, usually what's going to happen is instead of it like flowing over the sides like a lot of waffle makers, right? If you've seen that, what's going to happen is during cooking, this is just going to open up like slightly, like you'll kind of just have like a skyscraper waffle that forms, right? So that's really cool. And then the second thing is I have never, ever, regardless of what kind of waffles I've made in this, had anything stick to it. And I have no idea like what they did for the surface, what kind of like, you know, magic that they weaved into this. But the first time I tried to make a waffle with this, I sprayed it with like an anti-stick spray because I was just expecting that with like, you know, how I've done waffles in the past. And then someone was like, oh, you don't need to do that. And I was like, yeah, right. Like it's a waffle maker, like all the batter's going to stick. And they told me to try it without that. And so I literally washed it so I could do the test. I put in the batter without any of the spray oil, and the waffles just pop right out. I mean, you don't even have like a tiny bit of the residue left over at all, which is absolutely amazing. So I totally love that. And I think that's like the best feature of it. I love that it doesn't spill out. It kind of will just make like a skyscraper waffle where this kind of just like opens a little bit, you know, and you have like your too tall waffle in there, which, ooh, what a terrible problem. Your waffle's too tall. It's bigger. But the awesome thing is just how easy this is to use, that, you know, it's not going to spill all your batter out unless you put like an absurd amount of batter in where you're not even watching. So definitely just look while you're doing it. And then it doesn't stick. It's super easy. There's not even a button to hit. The light just goes off and there's a little click when your waffle's ready. I'll just open this up, pop the one waffle out, make another waffle. I'll have my two waffles and I know that I'm good to go. And then if I ever don't want it on the counter or whatever, I can easily just unplug it. And I have this nice little box that I can put it back in and I'm just good to go. So this is the mini waffle maker by Dash. Comes in a lot of different colors. There's also different versions of it where you can make little like heart waffles or like skull waffles or whatever. I totally want to buy the skull one for sure. Definitely need to do that. But there's like holiday themed ones. So there's all kinds of different ones, but Dash is a great company and I love their mini waffle maker.
Guys, I'm really excited. I got a great deal on this Dash Mini Maker waffle, a little tiny waffle maker. I have a Cuisinart waffle iron, but it's kind of big and hard to clean unless you're making waffles for the whole family and you need to make 4 at a time. But I want to make chaffles. So what I've done is I mix mozzarella and egg so that I can make chaffles, so I can have sandwiches that are low carb. And I got this little waffle maker to make them. So I'm going to make a few up and then show you what they turn out like. Before I get started, I wanted to show you this. It came with a little instruction manual and recipe guide. So it actually has a recipe in there for just regular waffles from scratch. It's hilarious. Look at this cute little thing. I'm going to get it washed up before I use it, but it's just a neat little tool. Okay guys, so I already made one of these chaffles and my indicator light is off, which means that it is hot enough for me to make another one. So I'll just lift it up here and you guys can watch me make it. I just have a teaspoon, and what I'm going to do is put 3 heaping teaspoons right there in the middle of the waffle iron. This is I added salt and pepper, probably not quite, that was a big scoop, so I'm just going to do a little bit more there. And then you shut it, and you can see that the light came back on because the cheese on there caused it to cool down a little bit below operating temp. That will go out, but I'm going to cook it for about 3 minutes, and I'll come back to you and show you the finished product. Okay, we're about 2 minutes in, and you can see that it's already come back up to operating temp, even with the ingredients in there, and you can see all the steam pouring out. Okay, guys, and you can hear my 3-minute timer going off, and you see my little chaffle there. So I'm going to pull it out and make 2 more so I can have 2 sandwiches. Hey guys, here's my bacon sandwiches that I made on chaffles. But the one thing that really puts them over the edge are these crispy dillies. It's a couple carbs because they do have a little bit of batter on them, but it's totally worth it because it adds a huge flavor. I'm going to go eat these and enjoy these. If I had anything to critique the Dash waffle maker on, it would be that it could be a little bit easier to clean. It would be nice if the plates were removable, but it's such an easy, small little thing that doesn't take up much space that you can just stick it in your cabinet, pull it out whenever you want to use it for just a couple waffles, and you don't feel like it was a big job. So it's definitely worth buying.